Where do I have to click to let everyone in?
So do you see at the bottom where it says participants?
Okay, it says admit, so just hit admit.
Yep, so just hit admit as people apply to the room, and then next to their names, you can mute them and stuff too. So whatever you need to do.
Okay, so it says 2 people are waiting, so I just hit admit.
Yep, and they'll join you in here.
Okay, great, thank you.
Of course, have a good meeting.
Hi, Henry, how you doing?
Hi, Dave.
And I got Lorraine, let's see. Joining. Hi, Lorraine.
Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Hi, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Hi, Henry. Hi, David.
How's it going?
Good. Wow, we're real. We're back in the swing of things, huh?
It's perfect.
I know.
I got your message about the triad, so I will be there on Monday.
Well, I sent back a little smiley face saying, I'll see you virtually shortly.
Oh, great.
Boy, I'm excited things are going to start moving along, you know?
Well, excuse me, I just went to town hall to pick up something. They're open, the library's open.
Yeah.
The senior center open, everything's open partially, but they're still opening, so that's great.
Right. It's exciting, you know?
Restaurants are open 100%.
Right.
Oh, and Henry, we were just talking about this. My wife is 62 and couldn't get her vaccine yet, but they just announced she's going to be eligible next week.
Yeah, April 19th, everybody, I guess, everybody. over 60.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And then everyone, my kids and everyone else will be together.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
great.
Okay, we got Gloria.
Good.
Let's see. Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Gloria.
Hi, Gloria. She doesn't. Gloria. Volume. Hi, Gloria.
Figure it out. She's getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to do it.
Oh, we hear
I
you.
can't hear you.
You can't?
I don't know
No?
how to do it.
What could we do?
Ah,
I can hear Gloria.
Are you
Yeah.
on your laptop? She probably can't hear.
Usually
If you
on
look-
it says join with audio. Maybe she has to press that.
Yeah, join with audio.
If she can see you, write a note and hold it up to her.
I think David is.
I am.
hear you.
Join
Yeah.
with audio. Can you read that?
Okay, where? Ah,
Where would join with audio be?
Usually when you sign in, it comes right up.
I don't know where that is.
Okay.
But look down below, Gloria. Look down below. You might be on mute maybe or
Oh,
something.
mute.
Yeah. Unmute yourself maybe.
Click. Oh.
Dave, do you have a cell
He's
phone?
connecting.
Gloria, I think you're connected now.
Yep.
It's not muted. Unmute her.
No, we
yeah,
can
you
hear
hear
you.
us?
We can hear you.
We could hear Gloria. What else could we figure?
Do you
Got
have
it.
you have a cell phone number, David?
I don't know that I do.
I do. I can
Oh.
text her.
Text who?
Oh, you can hear us now.
I can.
Oh, we were just gonna
Good.
call you. Yahoo!
Yay!
Gloria, I guess we have a learning curve here.
I do.
You could see the notes I was sending you then.
I could see the notes, but I had already joined. So what it was my speaker. The speaker was all the way down.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see, here's Karen.
excellent.
Hi, Karen.
Hello,
Hi, and welcome.
thank you.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Nice to meet everybody.
Yeah.
So we have two more people, one member and one guest that we're expecting,
Mhm.
and we'll call it to order at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
David, that lunch today was excellent.
Oh, the corned beef, great.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
very good.
it took me 2 hours, Henry, to deliver these. We had corned beef and cabbage from the senior center, and I deliver usually on Thursdays. Usually I deliver 11 to 12 residents. Today I had 19,
Oh, wow.
and they went all the way from East Bridgewater I had to, and all over Bridgewater. So I was all over the place.
Wow.
But yeah, it was good. And and Henry, just like I mentioned, a couple people called, and one person was upset I was late.
Oh,
It's my
no.
last residence at 1:45, and that's very late for lunch. And they were not that happy.
Oh, boy.
Whoops.
God.
A cut and pay.
Okay, oh boy.
How's Barbara doing, Henry?
She's doing very well. She goes for a second shot tomorrow.
Oh, excellent. Good. Nice.
And I go for mine on Saturday, so glad to get that out of the way. Hope-
Yeah, yeah. Be nice to, hi, Norm.
Hi, Lorraine.
Oops.
Gloria, you should have Norma join us.
I know.
I know. No, he's working on this project. He's recreating a bench that our grandsons made with him and he's trying not to lose the integrity of what the kids did, but some of the wood just didn't hold up. So he's busy.
You know, Henry, we were talking about the lunch. So Gloria worked with us yesterday, assembling. It was like a big project, wasn't it, Gloria?
I'm going to tell you, when I got home, I had the wrong shoes on, 5 hours on my feet. I had to take
Oh,
Advil. and My
boy.
back was killing me.
Oh, I bet.
I
Jeez.
agree with Henry. The meal was excellent.
It was excellent. Really, really, very good.
It was when there's so many like that, it turns into a big project because you have to open up every single grocery bag to put the meals in. Then you have,
112.
then 112. Then you have to
Wow.
put every little piece of cake into a container and close it. You have
Yeah.
to cut the bread into 8 pieces, and then you have to bag every piece of bread. We had cookies in a bag, and then we had to package the meal and put all of this product into the bag and make sure it's right side up, everything's together, and then tightly close it so it doesn't get messy. No, it was like Gloria said, we were there a good 5 hours. And then the guys that were cooking, they were there Monday and Tuesday this week.
Wow.
Big deal.
I bet it was delicious though, David.
Yes, it was.
We actually had a caterer one year. It was so horrible. Half of them threw out their meal. Do you remember that?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
that was so embarrassing.
Was that corned beef or was it something else?
I
Mystery.
don't know what it was.
Like a smoked shoulder or something,
I just
maybe?
can't believe it. They did give us back half of our money, you know,
Oh, yeah, I
luckily.
remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that.
That was embarrassing.
I don't
Oh,
think they cooked either. It was like, raw cabbage.
exactly. Oh, boy.
Oh,
One of those moments you wanted to
Mhm.
forget, you know?
So I do have, before we get started, and hopefully the other guys who join us, a only on Zoom meeting moment. So last week I was on a Zoom call, and I didn't think about this, but you really need to take care of personal hygiene, like brushing your teeth and everything before a meeting. I had just eaten a poppy seed bagel and wasn't thinking about it.
Oh,
And
no.
between all my teeth is poppy seeds. And after the call, which was about an hour, one of my friends on the call called me back and said, I didn't want to interrupt you on the call, but but you got to know, I was kind of breaking up through the whole thing. Between your teeth, you had poppy seeds, whatever, everywhere. And all I could concentrate on was what was there between your teeth. So
Oh, no.
I made sure my teeth were nicely brushed before I joined the meeting.
Oh, boy.
David, do you have your pants on?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And there have been a lot of stories about people that do not and they forget and get up or whatever.
Right.
So there's other stories out there.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's getting better. Things are getting better, right?
We will be. We're going to be in person pretty soon.
Yeah.
And actually, I would imagine in the next 2 months at the most, we'll be able to do outdoor meetings at the very least, if not indoor.
Excellent. Yeah.
So,
That'll be nice.
it will be nice. Well,
Yeah.
it's 2 minutes after. I'm going to call it to order. So we'll call our meeting to order at 3 p.m. today. Henry, are you going to be able to take notes today?
I will if you want me to.
I would love you to.
Yeah,
Thank you. What's that?
I got a paper and pen ready.
Oh, then we're doing good. So the first thing I would like to do is welcome our newest member, Karen Aker. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
I'm Karen Eicher, but Karen is
sorry.
fine. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well,
And I'm not one of those Karens. I'm okay most of the time.
so Karen, would you like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. I started my career as a speech language pathologist back in 1982, and I recently became a professor, and I'm here at the college teaching in the Communication Sciences and Disorders Department, and I teach graduate and undergraduate courses. I attended that movie Crip Camp. I sent the link to Dave, and it reminded me of my own high school and college time because I was a summer camp counselor at day camps for kids with assorted conditions. And so the Crip Camp movie kind of spoke to the day camp situation, but the music was kind of like our music from the 70s. So I'm like, yes, the music's awesome. So,
Excellent.
Well, welcome, Karen. And I will tell you, I feel very fortunate to have you join us on the Disability Commission, as I'm sure everyone else is too. Myself, Dave Frim, I've been with the commission for, I believe, 5 years now. And we've had, a few different people, but Henry Goldsmith has been with me right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Lorraine has just joined us in the last, say, 6 months.
Right.
And Lorraine and I have worked together for many years now. I was a volunteer at the senior center where Lorraine was in charge for many years. So we've been
I'm
working.
the one that you wanted to kill, right? When I got you on all those boards and committees and you there wanted to do that.
I've loved every moment of it. And Gloria is on the Elder Affairs Commission. So Gloria and I have worked together for quite a long time on the Elder Affairs Commission. So there's a lot of overlap with all the different commissions and groups I'm learning. And it's great. It's great. I mean, we all get along and, it's a lot easier to get things accomplished. So it's been great. So anyways, welcome on board. And I'm sure it's going to be a great match having you with us.
thank you.
Welcome, Karen.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
I'm just going to kind of read off the agenda. After a hiatus due to the COVID outbreak, now's the perfect time for the Bridgewater Commission to resume operation. Unfortunately, it's been a very tough year. We were down for most of the year to Henry and myself and Anna, and a lot of the times it was just Henry and myself on the Zoom calls, and we couldn't have a meeting. You have to have a minimum quorum of 3 people. So now we have a fully staffed group of 5, myself, Lorraine, Henry, Anna, and yourself, Karen. So we have 5 of us. And we need just 3 to have a quorum. So we're going to be in good shape this year. Everything's opening up again everywhere, restaurants and the town hall and the library. So I just feel like now is the perfect time to kick off our commission again and really start getting things accomplished. Jack Chipman from Bridgewater State University also is usually involved, and he had emailed me probably about a month ago that he'd be very interested in remaining involved. And I didn't hear from him today, but he's usually part of our group also. Okay. Just so you know, and so everyone can plan, from this day on, we're going to have the meetings on the second Wednesday of every month at 3 o'clock. So our next meeting will be held on Wednesday, April 14th at 3 p.m. And the first thing I want to ask, is that a good time for everyone?
Yep,
So it's okay for me until September.
Okay.
I work Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, my teaching days. So I
Okay.
can be here because I'm online teaching, but in the fall I'll be in person. And so there's just not enough time to like stop what I'm doing, drive to wherever we are, and then come back. So I don't teach at all on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I don't know whether you would consider having a hybrid meeting that I could attend on Zoom while you guys meet in person, or if we could consider a different day. I don't want to be a pain in the neck. I just have not much flexibility. I don't make my schedule.
No, that's fine. Would you be able to make the Wednesday, April 14th meeting?
As long as it's online, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We
And then in
have
May, June, July, and August, I only teach at night. So
Okay.
I'm fine for those months.
We have a lot of flexibility, and if we're doing it online, the only thing that kind of holds us in is Katie DeRosa, who's the admin for Mike Dutton and so forth. She kind of gets us onto this. She is the one that opens up the Zoom meeting. As soon as I get on, then she just exits the meeting.
Right.
So we need to have her available. But other than that, I think most of us are pretty flexible, and we could all work together. So we'll plan to have it online Wednesday, the 14th at 3 o'clock. But as we go forward, depending on our needs, I'm very flexible, and I think everyone else is. We can probably, adjust it to what suits all of us.
Perfect. Yeah. And it might be possible for Katie to make you a host, and that way she doesn't. So that's what our admin at BSU has done for me for departmental meetings, is just she sets it up and makes me the host. And that way I just have to click the link and let everybody in.
Okay, that's what she had me do today, but she had let me in initially, and then as soon as I got on, then I was able to click the host duties to let everyone on.
Yeah, our admin, and maybe it's just different Zoom accounts. Our admin did that in advance of the meeting, so I got a set of 3 different meetings like weeks in advance, and I just clicked my link and told everybody if they weren't nice to me that I would boot them out.
I like that. Well, I can find out more from Katie, but as we go forward, and if we certainly get together in person, I would be more than happy to be flexible, because I would like to have all of us able to get together in these meetings.
Yeah, and I think it's great having Gloria join us also as a guest, and maybe eventually if there's ever an opening also, it's great to have, like you said. Remember how you were talking about possibly additional associate positions down the road someday,
Right.
So yes,
And I had talked to Mike Dutton about that eventually we would like to see if we could grow to maybe 7 commission members. But in the meantime, it's nice to have additional people involved. Yes. And, Gloria and I go back in Rain on the Elder Affairs Commission.
Yeah.
So I think this is great to have Gloria's involvement also.
Exactly.
But I'll say like Karen, only if you're nice to me.
We promise to be very nice.
David, do we know if Anna is able to commit? Do we know that about Anna?
It's funny you said that, because I had Henry called her today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spoke to her today, and she said that she was going to try to get on, but she had trouble getting on last time we had a Zoom meeting. So she knew about it, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah, because I think at this stage, it's going to be very important for people to make a commitment, and if they have a problem getting on, then, there should be some kind of attempt to whatever way, we just need to
I
be
told her
assured that, they're
give me a
committed.
different call and would help her through it, but she didn't call me back or anything, so.
Yeah,
I think, and you made a very good point, Lorena, and I
Yeah.
have that in the next paragraph. It's important to let, myself or one of us know in advance if we're not able to make a meeting, because what happens is I don't want the group to fall apart again. We
I
had
know.
really, really good years where we've accomplished a lot. And
Mhm.
this year has been frightening with, all the chances of COVID and so forth. But I feel like it's almost like spring awakening, and we have a great opportunity to get back into shape, and we really need to all be involved with it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so we'll go on to business, and I had a couple things. Number one, I didn't write this down, but Marilee Hunt sent out today an overdue annual report, and I did not, and shame on me, I didn't do the Disability Commission report. And it's not last year, it's not like last year. We had so many things that we were involved with last year. But I did want to mention a couple of things that I will write up and I'll submit to her by the end of next week. So working in conjunction with BCCR, which is a town group, the Elder Affairs Commission,
Mhm.
and Literacy Place, Disability Commission spearheaded the Christmas visit to the Bridgewater Nursing Home this year, the Westview Rest Home. We caroled, we gave gift bags to all the residents and all the staff members. We also were able to donate $250 worth of toys for Tots. And we also were able to donate $700 for feeding the needy through the Bridgewater Food Bank program. So it was a very successful year. Altogether, we collected over $2,500 that we used for all these programs. So it was very successful, and it just shows how the different commissions and groups in Bridgewater can work together. So I felt, that was quite an accomplishment, especially in the era of COVID. Also, I worked on through Disability Commission, the Memorial Building in Bridgewater. And the Memorial Building is being redone, hopefully within the next year. And the big deal with the Memorial Building, they're trying to work within the constraints of the actual architecture of the building. It's a beautiful brick building. It's right next door to the library, if you're not sure of the placement of it. And I know the Historic Commission wants to make sure that the interior of the building stays as intact as possible. And the same thing with the exterior, though most of it is staying pretty much the same. Where the Disability Commission got involved is we had to sign off that they are going to utilize the front entrance as the handicap entrance. They're going to make the doors somehow slide open, I believe, using the same doors, but making some adjustments so they'll be able to slide open and to admit a person with disability. And they're going to make a walkway with a ramp going up the side of the building directly to that entrance. So it should be pretty accessible for people with disabilities. My only concern, and I don't know that there's a way around it, they have absolutely no parking for that building.
Yeah.
And they have a couple different things they're talking about using it for: the water department, maybe some paintings and things that they are storing from the library. They want to use it, put it on display at the Memorial Building. So there's a couple different things to use over there, but there is no parking. They used to have one spot on the right of the building. I think they're still going to be able to use that. It's kind of where the lift used to be on the right of the building.
Yep. Yeah.
And took down their lift, and they have a room for one spot only over there. The Memorial Building does not own the land on either side of that building, so it's very landlocked. We talked about cutting out kind of like just like they did across the street, cutting out in the sidewalk, an area for parking, but they said there's not enough room on their front lawn to do that. So I think they're going to have to make do with the one parking spot over there. That was the only issue that I see, and it's kind of tough. The other thing I want to mention, instead of a lift on the outside, and instead of an elevator, they're going to put a lift on the inside of the building.
Oh.
And it's basically the same premise as elevator, but it's open. So going into the first floor on the back right corner, there will be a lift available over there. And it's large enough for a wheelchair access into the lift. You'll be able to push the button to take you down to the basement of the building. And in the basement is where they have the restrooms, which will be remodeled to be handicap accessible.
Wow.
So that's kind of the work that's going on with the memorial building.
Quick question, will the lift hold the wheelchair and a caregiver? Is there enough room for two?
No, it will not. And that is a great question, Karen. And I was like, every meeting, I was a single voice kept speaking about that. And, you know, it will not hold that, nor would they come to an agreement on that. They were kind of under the gun for getting this accomplished. There was grant money that will expire if they didn't use it within this time frame of this year. So they had to go ahead with this. But that was one of the first questions I asked, and it didn't go over that well. And no, it will not. It would be very tight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
And it's funny you said that also, Karen, because I go over to my in-laws every Thursday for martinis, and I talk about all the projects we're doing. And I talked about that, and the first question my mother-in-law mentioned was, could you get a caretaker or a different term to get into the lift, and you really can't. To the right of where the lift will be, there is stairs that lead down to the basement, but unfortunately, a lot of the folks that need a wheelchair, the person that's a caregiver also is under some constraints, and I think it would be tough for them to use the stairs. The only other thing that they could do is use the lift a second time to take them down to assist the person. But this is
Crazy.
It's a done deal right now. So,
I mean, the only bright spot I can think of is, you know, my father was in a wheelchair at the end of his life, and the travel wheelchairs are much smaller than a standard wheelchair.
right.
So while if they're measuring for a standard wheelchair, or if they're measuring even for an electric wheelchair that someone could use independently, those take up
Right.
significantly more room.
Mhm.
So it might be possible if it's just a little transport chair, but still kind of squishy.
I know.
and I will say, without measuring and trying, and I didn't have a wheelchair to work with to measure it out, but there was 4 different lift sizes that were available, and from the smallest one to the largest one, and they went to the second to the largest lift. So it wasn't like they tried to pick the very smallest one. I think you're probably right that maybe for maybe an average person, you might be able to squeeze yourself in next to the smaller wheelchair, but you know, it's not going to necessarily be an easy fix for everyone.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame. That's a shame.
That's too
That's
bad.
kind of why it's so important that we're together as a nation, because it also strengthen a larger number of voices.
Right.
And, you know, for a little while, there was one commission member, you know, fighting against the tide, and now we have at least 6 of us.
Exactly.
That's very important. The other thing that I just got today that I do not understand at all, and I just mentioned, I picked this up at the town hall today, which is why I was there and realized it's open. We got a letter from Strategic Land Ventures looking for variances for a 58-unit residential building on Plymouth Street, 85 Plymouth Street in Bridgewater. And I'm thinking that's somewhere near the college. And it was sent to myself, Charlie Simons, I think. And let's see who the last person was. It was sent to, oh, I'm sorry. It was sent to Steve Solari, myself, and Steve Higgins, who's the executive director of Independent Living Center in East Bridgewater. In receipt of this, it's got blueprint. It has blueprints and pictures of the whole structure. It's a nice looking building, but I'm not actually sure from a disability commission perspective how we're supposed to get involved.
Yeah.
I sent a note today to Mike Dutton and Kim Williams, and hopefully they can kind of clue us in of how we're supposed to be involved with this.
Is there something in Bridgewater about how a building that has X number of units may be required to include handicapped accessible apartments? I know that exists in other towns.
And it does mention that here, but other than that, they have pages and pages of blueprints and, talking about the features and, the sinks and so forth. So they're probably, and you're right, they're probably asking us to look at that as one of the features, and I'm not sure what else. So I'm going to have to find out what else we're supposed to be looking for.
Yeah, just a quick Google Maps. That's the place where the Uncle Shawarma's food truck used to be. It's right next to the train tracks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to back up on the new building that's already going up on Burrell Avenue.
Well, see, I'm glad you told me that, because first it's talking about they're trying to get a variance to build it. And when I first read this earlier today, I thought it was that building that they're building. But then I looked at the address, and my wife and I looked it up, and it wasn't that address. It's a different one. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's, what did you say? It's right behind it?
Yeah, it's going to be like their back doors would kind of like be adjacent, because when you're looking at that area now, that whole lot is already torn up. So I guess they've got plans to do something.
Okay.
Heaven only knows what.
The building that's being built right now, is that apartment complex? That's not a dorm, is it? Or is it apartment?
No, it's not a dorm. So I think it is apartment complex.
It's an apartment complex also.
Wow.
Boy, well, too many apartment complexes in Bridgewater.
Yeah. Way too many.
Wow.
I guess they're counting on us being back in person in the fall.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I still say, David, we need a Target. We need a Target in town, but there isn't enough space, so. I've been saying that forever. Where's our Target?
There really isn't. My in-laws live in Brockton, right off of North Main Street. Remember where Kmart used to be?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Used to be over there. There was a Shaw's.
Yep.
And, there was a lot of other good things. They're all gone. There's nothing over there.
I know.
Between that area of Brockton and up towards us, we don't have like a department store access.
Nope. Nothing.
If you don't have access to a car or that kind of thing, it's really kind of tough around here.
It is.
That would be nice. We need more business in Bridgewater. You're right.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Under business today, I would like to discuss several available positions on the Disability Commission. A vice chairman position, and I'm looking for volunteers. And then we have to vote on it. And also a secretary position. I know that we've been utilizing Henry for that, and I feel like I'm twisting Henry's arm a little on this, so I'm not sure how you feel about it.
I'm fine.
Oh, good. Okay. So let me ask you this. So we'll start with secretary then. Do I have a volunteer for secretary this year?
I volunteer for that.
Okay.
I was going to nominate Henry as vice chair because he's been on the longest.
Before we vote on Henry as secretary, let's ask the following. Who would be interested in being the vice chairman?
Well, I was going to, as I mentioned, nominate Henry for vice chairman, who's been on the longest. Henry, but you're not interested? You're interested in secretary, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in vice chairman, but to be honest.
Okay.
So
I will volunteer if no one else is interested in the vice chair position.
Okay. So, okay, that being said, is there anyone else that'd be interested in the vice chair? Is there anyone else that'd be interested in secretary? So that being said, do I have, what would it be? And the first, okay, for Henry as secretary?
I second it. Yep, I nominate him.
Okay, Henry, you are now our official secretary.
Okay.
Lorraine as vice chair, I would be delighted to,
Everybody would.
Karen, Gloria,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Henry, there's
Yep.
4 of us. Lorraine, you are the official vice chair.
I'll be
Congratulations.
happy to do that as long as presentations will be with Chairman David Frem. Anytime we have to go before a town council or whatever, David Frem. Right?
Thanks a
I'll
lot.
say aye,
Aye.
Hi.
right?
The ayes have it.
I'd be
it's been
happy to
a-
be vice chair, David. You know that.
I know that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you and I are going to be on everything together. We're on
We
that.
are. I know.
It's amazing. I just wanted to update you about the Academy building. Going back now for 3 years, Henry and I were fighting the good fight there. We talked about making the Academy building more accessible to people with disabilities.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of interesting things that happened since last time we talked. But first of all, if you ever go to the Academy building, it's a beautiful building. They renovated it within the last few years. The handicap entrance to the building is the front entrance to the building, but the parking is on the far left side of the building. So in order for someone that is handicapped to get to the front door, you have to walk all the way around the side of the building, up the ramp, go around up to the front door, go up the ramp, and then you can push the button to open the handicap entrance. It's not really that well thought out because you're picking the furthest point from the parking to get in for the handicapped person, a person with disability. So we were fighting for them to make the side entrance, which is directly adjacent to the parking, the secondary handicap entrance to the building. I'm going to say as long as 2 years ago, maybe even longer,
Yeah.
they agreed to do this. And it kind of came to a standstill, and we really haven't heard much of anything. But believe it or not, after all this time, they're still discussing it at the town meetings, and they are looking for making that a secondary handicap disability entrance to the building. So I don't know when it'll get done, if ever, at this point, but they are still working on it. And, there's not much more we can do from the Disability Commission perspective because we brought it to the attention. They are working on it, and I feel it will get done eventually. But another interesting point did come to play. Someone placed a complaint with the Disability Commission in Boston about the accessibility to this building, about the walkway that goes around the building, because what they did, they made it a very beautiful, I don't know if you call it a paver or stones,
Yeah.
brick, whatever, kind of a cross between brick and pavers.
Mhm.
It's very lumpy and it's not a very smooth, flat surface. So if you're walking with a walker or you're in a wheelchair, it's very difficult to get from the side of the building to the front entrance. So what they are going to do sometime in the spring is pull that up and redo that whole walkway to make it accessible. So I thought that was a good thing because we have been complaining about that for a good 2 years now. And, the squeaky wheel finally gets greased, but they are going to take care of that.
That's great. That's a move in the right direction anyways. Yeah.
And
It is.
even from a liability standpoint, because when you have those irregular surfaces, even a cane can get caught in them the wrong way. And if someone goes
Exactly.
down, that's on the city.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good
Mhm.
point. That's a real good point. The other thing, and we're going to have to keep an eye on as the building opens, we complained in the past about the parking situation over there. Unfortunately, it's been closed for the year, but now it's starting to open again. All the parking spots on the side, and even during COVID, seem to be in use for the the workers of the town building, which doesn't leave any parking for anyone that wants to have access to the building. So you have to park near the green or further away, and it's tough. It really is tough. So as the building opens up, I think one of the things we do need to keep in mind that we will want to send a letter to Mike Dudden and Kim Williams that we feel they need to constrict the parking for the employees to another area, whether it be behind the library or behind, they have the municipal parking. It has to be another area other than the building itself.
I mean, I know there's a lot of churches. Can they rent a couple spaces from one of the local churches?
Well, that's a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. They talked about that with the memorial building, renting parking for it, but the person that lives behind it that has that access road didn't want to do it. But you never know. Maybe the church would like to do that.
Because they tend not to use them between 9 and 5 on weekdays. That's not a high time for churches usually.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
That's
they
an excellent
probably always
idea.
use the income.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
We'll put that down.
David, I know initially when they built that building, when it was completed, I know town employees had to park elsewhere. They were not allowed to park in that parking lot. So maybe they ended up navigating their way back into that lot or something, but initially they weren't allowed to park in that,
Well,
area.
that's exactly what happened.
Right,
When we complained, they mentioned it and everyone, left for like a week or two.
yeah,
And then they just go right back again. And it hasn't been really much of a complaint because the only use you could use for the town hall this year was just dropping off, paying a bill or whatever, and you did that on the side. But now as it opens up again, it's something for us to think about because it's just going to get back to the same situation again.
Right,
yeah.
right.
This is something I thought about. I met with Mike Dudden, and I'm just trying to think what I recently. And one thing I brought to him is I would love to have better communication between the town management and ourselves, so we would have more ideas and kind of working more as a team with the town. And not to say that they're telling us what we have to do because we are independent and not do, but I would like to feel like we're accomplishing things that are going to be of value to Bridgewater. And I think, if they bring things to our attention and we work within the constraints of, the town, I think we'll get a lot more accomplished as we go forward. He said it was a great idea. This was probably 4 weeks ago, and I haven't heard back from him in the 4 weeks, and I will be happy to follow up, but I wanted to get what your opinion was.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, David. As I had mentioned before, though, my only concern is working outside of my scope of knowledge, with the construction.
No, I agree.
A lot of it, a lot of things are brought before us. And yes, it's probably more the building inspector or somebody of that nature. It's
Right.
beyond my scope of knowledge. And I don't want people to go to me and ask for my opinion when it's outside of what I'm unable to say, That's my only concern about, personally, what we're thrown into,
Well, that's a good point, but then again, that's why working with them kind of as a team philosophy, I would go to Dudden or whoever and just say,
Yeah.
I don't understand. How would we be involved with this? And
Right.
if it's we're not supposed to be involved, we can't be involved with. We can just reflect it to the right person.
Yes.
Yep. Plus,
Absolutely.
I think we bring a perspective about the humans that the
Yes.
engineers don't have.
Yep,
That's right. That's a good
exactly.
point. Great point.
I agree with that. I think what we're doing, and I think on a, informational, educational level, as far as bringing out resource information and things of that nature, on the construction end of it, we don't have that knowledge, but you said to be able to, work side by side with those departments that do would be great, so.
Like how many engineers thought that there might need to be a caregiver with a person with a wheelchair?
Exactly.
They just measured the wheelchair, they measured the lift, good to go. And it's just
Yeah.
like, no, there's people that have to be in that wheelchair.
I know. And if they were ever in that wheelchair, they'd have a different perspective, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, the important part of all this is it just shows how important it is to have a disability commission, because
Mhm.
when we were talking about the memorial building and we weren't really functioning as a commission during the last year, there was a member of the historic commission was part of that memorial building group. Kim Williams was there, myself, and several other people, and everyone had their own perspective of what they thought was important. So the historic commission, their importance was maintaining the building, as close to what it is right now as we go forward. The town wants to use it as the water department offices. Everyone had a different reason, that they wanted to be on the commission, and everyone was one voice. Well, when it all came down to it, there was 5 people on the commission. Carlton Hunt was on it too. I'm just trying to think of the different people. So there was 5 different voices. And, if you had more people involved from each commission, you have more strength behind it. And that's why, again, I think we're important that we get this really going, because I felt kind of outnumbered, and everyone did come to a point that they said, we need to go forward with the memorial building with the lift as is. And, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And, if someone thought from a perspective, just like you said, Karen, the human perspective, it's kind of like when they built the Academy building. They made a beautiful building. And it kind of bowled me over when I first went in the first time some years ago, how they kind of did a combination of the old and the new, and everything looks so nice. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to say, wow, they shouldn't have parking to the left and then the main entrance this way up at the front when it's that hard for someone to walk that distance. So sometimes I don't think about the human perspective.
Yes, yes.
And the other thing I'll bring up about the Academy building, I'm new to Bridgewater, but I do value how historic and how much the historic character of the town is really valued and preserved as much as possible. But when you're talking about a long ramp for a wheelchair, we have bad weather. That should technically be covered. And that would drastically change the exterior of the building. It would not look the same.
Right.
And so from a historical integrity standpoint, they would be wise to have that alternative thing, not only a less cumbersome walkway, but imagine trying to push a wheelchair in the rain while the rails are getting wet. That is a real challenge.
That is.
And if we're going to say that we're accessible, does that only, well, we're accessible in nice weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is true.
And we've heard those challenges from different individuals who were caretakers pushing their parents or whatever in a wheelchair to get around to the front of the building. It's really, pretty sad.
And pushing a wheelchair in the rain with an umbrella, trying to hold them, and you're getting soaked, is really a whole lot of fun having done that.
I know. It's just not right.
Right. But even our folks who are living independently as wheelchair users, like our folks with spinal cord injury, some of our vets, if they are managing their own equipment, great. But they have that long ride up in the rain, and maybe they just have resigned themselves to, well, I can do it next week when it's dry. Maybe, I don't know.
I know.
Well, it's kind of interesting because, and I know you'll remember this, Henry, a couple years ago, we had a guest speaker from the Independent Living Center in East Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't remember his first name, but real nice gentleman. He was confined to a wheelchair. He came to the side entrance, came up to the side entrance. He was by himself. He couldn't get into the door because what you have to do is you have to have enough strength to pull that heavy door open. He's confined to the wheelchair. He couldn't do it. Someone else had to finally let him in. The first thing he said when he came upstairs to the meeting we were having is he had a tough time getting into the building. That was the very first thing. And, they don't think about that when they're designing these buildings.
I remember that, David.
The door, that door,
Yeah.
the handicapped door opener.
Yeah. Very difficult. I mean, even for example, at the senior center, there were times when our handicap accessible door did not operate. And it made it very, very difficult, for individuals trying to come in. It was very tough. you know, they had to redo that whole system or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would like to, for the next time we get together, come up with some ideas of what we're going to stand for as we go forward this year. And we have new people like Karen and Lorraine, and we have and Gloria, and we have the old regulars like myself and Henry. And I think I mentioned slightly earlier that I feel one thing we can do is reach out to the town management like Mike Dutton and Kim Williams and see what they feel we could be working on in conjunction with them. Marilee Hunter's reached out to me, the town clerk, on several occasions, and this year, and we never really had a problem with it, but she talked about the snow removal in downtown Bridgewater. And what happens is Marilee is somebody that walks, and I actually went to her house this year to sign her papers. She's running for town clerk again. So I actually went to her house to sign it. And she always talks about walking from her home to the downtown Academy building. And I never put together how far she lives, because she lives right on the West Bridgewater line. So she is walking quite the distance to get there. And she's walking on good sidewalks and bad sidewalks and sidewalks that have, debris, on them and so forth. Anyways, she talked about when it snows, they do a very miserable job clearing the sidewalks in downtown Bridgewater. So when you're trying to access the stores or just walk around there to the Academy building or the library or anywhere else around there, it's, usually kind of rough. Now, we didn't have too many big snowstorms this year, and, they seem like they did okay, but Marilee did bring that to my attention. And so she's looking at stuff that, could help the town of Bridgewater. And so I think we need to reach out to people in the town of Bridgewater to get ideas, because, I'm not a great idea person, say we should do this or that. And, I think it's great if someone, gives us ideas that we can talk about and work on.
Well, in Boston, don't they find them, don't clean the sidewalks in so much time? Why can't they utilize that in Bridgewater to the
I think
scale?
that's a great idea. Another thing, it could be, it's not just snow. It could be that the sidewalks are in disrepair and maybe they need to be, brought to the town's attention, because there's certainly a lot of roads like that. And while I sent it out to folks that were on the commission during the year, but we had a complaint from a town resident that right near Bridgemart, there was they said there was a gigantic pothole.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I actually went there and looked for it, and it was about 8 to 10 feet into the Bridgemart parking lot. So it didn't qualify as a town of Bridgewater pothole, but actually they fixed it from Bridgemart anyway. So it was taken care of. But there is people that are looking for help in the town of Bridgewater. And I guess one of our things could be, how do we reach out to the people that need help like that?
Yeah.
I think the other thing, David, also, it's been a learning experience for myself. Going on the Massachusetts Office on Disability, you go on their website, there's a lot of resource information. Even the 6th annual, the Disability Summit they just had, there was a lot of information that was out there. I find that I learn a lot by going on these various websites and checking out a lot of information. So,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a real good idea for us.
Yeah, I think it it brings about a lot of awareness on a lot of different things. So I've learned a lot, attending these various webinars and things like that.
Now there's another meeting coming up, Lorraine.
April 14th. I believe it's the same day as our next month's meeting, David.
Okay, maybe I'll have to change the meeting date. I don't think we should skip a month's meeting, because I think we need to get the momentum going.
Right.
But I'm certainly willing to change the date of that.
Is there anything we can do for the people in Bridgewater who have physical disabilities, saying like, look, we are your allies. We need you to be our eyes and ears, because we can't be everywhere. So is there a way for them to contact you, and now Lorraine and Henry as our executive board, to just let us know what's going on. Is there something that we didn't notice that you have that's really impacting your ability
Right.
to get through town?
We haven't done anything to that end. What would you suggest? I mean, we have local venues like the Bridgewater Buzz Around. I suppose we could post something on that, or maybe under Bridgewater residents. I'm not sure what you suggest.
How about, can we put something in the Elder Affairs newsletter?
That's what I was going to say, Gloria. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if we want to work in conjunction with them, you know, some kind of a little blurb, like, just like
Yeah.
Karen just said, we're here for you.
Right.
You know, like with phone numbers or some way for them to reach out to us. I think that would be a good idea, actually.
Emily,
Yeah,
to
and
put-
not everyone's elder. So even if there was just a town suggestion box, you know, for, you know, and maybe not open up the whole town because Michael Dutton will kill me dead. But it's like, here are thoughts. Yeah, no. But just even, you know, the Disabilities Commission wants to hear from you. What challenges do you see? And because we do have some younger people with disabilities in town.
Right.
Not certainly as many as older, but I don't want them to feel like they're not valued. So
Right. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I want to caution with, not everyone is on Facebook.
Yeah,
So I know,
I'm not.
I know you do a lot of things, and so many people,
Yeah.
myself included, are
Yeah.
not on Facebook.
I'm not
so
on it.
that can't be the only platform, you know?
I know our campus is popular with people with physical disabilities because it's relatively flat compared to the other state campuses. And so we do have a lot of folks compared to other colleges in wheelchairs. And now with some of the newer apartments going up that are in the neck of the woods as the university, like the one that's going up now and the one that we saw the proposal for, I can imagine that some of them will move off campus because they always felt kind of like, I have to live in the dorms, you know, but now they'll have
Yeah.
choices. And so we can certainly make that anything that we do for disabilities, we can have that connect with the off-campus housing people for, you know, is there anybody with disabilities who's living in town? You know, so some of them still live at home because they need the caregiver support, but hopefully more and more would be productive members of our community here in town.
David, I wonder if there's a way that maybe we can create, you know how Triad created a trifold brochure or whatever about
Yes.
who we are and, you know, what our goals are. And, you know, like Karen said, you know, we'd like to hear from you. What are your suggestions? If we could maybe even start drafting out or thinking about maybe we could even have a BSU intern help us produce some kind of a flyer or a trifold, like a little brochure, like I said, which we created for Triad to let people know what we're all about and what we want to accomplish and ideas and, you know, who's on the board and whatever, something like that, maybe.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple questions. Say we were able to get an intern from BSU
Right.
and accomplish this brochure. How would we get this out though afterwards? How would you get this out to people?
Well, what we could probably do is, you know, post it in different, well, I know right now things are a little difficult because people they're minimally entering buildings, but we could have some available at the senior center, at the library, various places like we used to do our newsletter, you know, we would just drop them off at all different spots and hand them to other social groups. And I belong to a San Francisco Women's Club, let them know about, you know, just to bring out the awareness. We could just tap into everybody that we're all familiar with, you know,
Right.
groups we're
Okay.
involved with, you know.
Right.
And the town does have its own social media, so the intern could put it up on the Town of Bridgewater social media. It doesn't
Right.
rely on any of us putting it on our personal accounts.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, I think it's something that maybe we should think about trying to develop and, you know, draft out or whatever. That's how we always would start with Triad, is just to try to start developing something like that, you know. And
Okay.
mission
For what
statement.
it's worth, there is someone who is doing an internship at the senior center with Emily from our communications program, not communication disorders. I've got one of those too, but communications. And so he's been helping like with Zoom events and marketing kinds of things. And so it might be, you know, David, when you're talking to Emily, see if Zach would be able to help with this.
That's a good idea. I know he's leaving
Yeah.
in May, but
Yeah,
that's a
they
good.
all are. But if you
Yeah.
could get the ball rolling, if there's another one coming, then maybe, you know, I'm beating the bushes to make sure that
That's
I
a-
continue to have somebody from my department, but the last thing you need is a speech therapist coming up with brochures, because, you know, no. That's not where we're strong.
Really good ideas here, because I think that Emily has several interns, more than several from
He
the,
does, yeah.
and they're all so
He
much
does.
smarter on doing this social media stuff than I am. So, I mean, they will make it look easy where I will be struggling, and, you know, that's a great idea. So out of all the stuff we just talked about, I can talk to Emily about including this in the newsletter, and I can come up with something for the next senior center newsletter describing the Disability Commission,
Right, yeah.
reaching out to folks in the community. And just like you say, Karen, we're probably, that's going to reach out mostly to seniors in Bridgewater.
Mhm.
Karen, you mentioned about there'll be people moving off campus housing, they have disabilities. How would we reach out to those people right now? What would you
Well, right
think?
now, they're probably not here because no one is.
No
Yeah.
one's here.
You know, I think
Yeah.
only 10% or less of our courses are being taught on campus.
Okay.
So our dorms are more than half empty. Classrooms are empty. Like, it's creepy to go in my building. I don't like to go to my office. I'll only do it in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I live on Spring Hill. Like, back in the height of the pandemic, we could hear coyotes here.
Oh,
You know, like,
Oh, yeah.
Summer
See,
Street is right outside my window. You know, it's just like the campus was empty. There's no, so, but I think in the fall, when people are starting to return, we can reach out to the folks in the student affairs office, or I forget what they call it. They keep changing the names because they're consolidating because
Yeah.
of budget cuts. So I don't know their new
Right.
names. But we do have folks that actively reach out to students who live off campus, our
mhm.
commuter students. And so we
Mhm.
can make this available. Commuter students in Bridgewater, you know, here's what we're doing. And
Mhm.
hopefully that the folks, you know, and certainly our Office of Institutional Diversity and our Student Accessibility Services would be another resource to reach out to individuals who have disabilities who might be living in town.
Okay, great. And
That's
this will give
what
us a
I was
little,
thinking, you know,
this will give us
David.
a little time for the fall, getting ready for the fall.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, for that. So that's great. Gloria, what about you? You mentioned, you know, not everyone has access to the computer and iPads and so forth. What else would you think that would reach out to folks that don't have all those resources?
I mean, all the things you've listed, but I can also think like, you know, like High Pond, you
Mhm.
know, I mean, because they have community center and you could bring the
Yep.
info, you know, the info pamphlets there. I
Stone
think we have,
Meadow,
yeah, and
Stone
Stone
Meadow.
Meadow, definitely Stone
Mhm.
Meadow.
Maybe Bridgewater Housing Authority even.
Yeah,
And the Housing Authority as well. That would be,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a good spot.
Okay.
And David, do you recall when we did our little presentation at the
I
Housing
do.
Authority
Yes.
a year or two ago?
Yeah.
That was well received. I mean, that would be when we're able to do a lot more in person, and, you know, you could have your refreshments as a drawer and this and that, but that was really, that was a lot of fun, and we did it at the senior center too.
We
That
did
was
it with you at the
enjoyable.
senior center too.
Yeah,
And we had a lot of different speakers, and
Yeah.
we also did it at, what did we do it at? Henry, did we do it at Stone Meadow or did we do it at High Pond?
I don't remember being at either of those places. I
Yeah,
remember.
we did at one of them. I can't remember which one now, but we did one of those, definitely housing and in the senior center.
yeah,
Okay. And I like, Karen, your idea about getting an intern involved, because
mhm.
there seems to be, I know at the senior center, every time I go, there's new interns over there. So
Yeah.
they seem to be readily available. Yeah, I will talk to Emily about, you know, would we be able to use them also? That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have for today. You know,
Dave,
it's,
we talked to Zach about cleaning up that walkway behind the senior center there, that, you know, up the hill. Zach was interested in getting some of his people to clean it up and get it usable again.
He did. He talked to Emily about it. She was very excited. Then everything fell apart with COVID because the
Yeah.
students weren't around. So maybe that would be something that can come up again in the fall when,
Yeah.
I think people will probably be back in school again in the fall. So that would
Right.
probably be a good idea then.
Are we gonna discuss Marathon Park again?
I didn't want. I felt like it was redundant. I would like to. If one thing I do before I die, I want to see them move those handicap signs right near the park. Where they are now, they have the marathon park set up for kids, and it's a great playground. But they have the handicap parking is not in front of the entrance to the park. It's to the far left of the parking area. So I don't even know why a handicapped person would park, as far as you can go to the left side of the parking lot. Again, it's whoever engineered that didn't think about, here's the entrance on the far right, but we're putting the parking for handicap on the far left. So I will bring it up. I was thinking of doing that on the next time we got together, Henry.
Okay,
We ran into an issue on campus. We have a Parkinson's clinic, and
Okay.
they didn't put the parking near the ramp. They put it where they could get the sign in easily
oh, geez.
because it was hard to like get it in.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
You know,
yeah, we have a number of issues. To get to our clinic, you have to go past the program that teaches people how to be undertakers. And so there are little miniature.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
yeah, it's awful. It's like
Oh,
we're cringing.
no.
It's like, okay, we know you have a disease that could ultimately take your life. So please don't look at the coffins on your way
I
to speech
know.
therapy.
Oh, my gosh.
Gee, that's horrible.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
campus needs some sensitivity training for
Training,
this
yes.
kind of issue.
I-
They
that-
are working hard
gosh.
with race, but not so much disability. So we have work to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So before we end, I just would like to say I am very excited to have Karen join us, Lorraine, and Gloria.
Mhm.
And Henry, I'm always happy to see you. So this was a great meeting.
It was.
I would
Yeah.
like to just see us become important to the town of Bridgewater this year. I really thought in
Yeah.
past years we did a really nice job.
Mhm.
We stepped up and, we worked with the town on a lot of different projects, and some things will come to fruition, like eventually they'll get the side entrance to the academy building and on. But, I'd like to become readily available as a resource for the town, and I think we can. So a couple of things I would just take away from today's meeting. I'm just going to say it again. If we can't attend the meeting, please let me know so that we know who's going to be attending. It's just important that we're all here. I would like to, whatever we talk about, the next time we get together, to make strides in regard to it. So as we leave here today, I know that I'm going to write up something that we can put in the newsletter for the senior center. They're doing a couple different directions for that. They've done quarterly ones, and they're also every so often we're doing like a monthly one. So I'll figure out when they're doing the next upcoming newsletter and see if we can get something to that. And we'll come up with, talk to Emily about an intern maybe helping us to get on. And I think I like getting onto the existing town of Bridgewater social media site, because that's already existing. So Karen, that was a great idea. Why don't we take advantage of it? And as we go forward, maybe we could do the brochure, like you said, Lorraine, that we could distribute to places like Gloria, you said, maybe Stone Meadow or High Pond or the Bridgewater Housing, and get it out there to people. And we can even do it at the grocery stores like Roach Brothers. They do the newsletter at Roach Brothers and Trukey's and stuff like that. So why don't we could do that also? So I guess that would be the end of my spiel. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to bring up?
So David, I just wanted to mention, obviously I love the overlap and how we all can collaborate together. Obviously I have a triad meeting that will be Monday and you're going to be attending.
Right.
So it seems like there's a lot of great overlap with Disabilities Commission members, with the triad, seniors and law enforcement together. That's what that program is about. Elder Affairs Commission members, they attend. I love how, I mean, we're just one big circle. We really are. So I love the overlap and the, just the joining of the ideas and resource sharing and all that. So, I mean, this is a great start. I really commend you, David, and also Henry. You've been like through thick and thin. You've been all the way through this. As you know, years ago, we had a disabilities commission and then unfortunately went by the wayside. There was just myself and another member that was left. And then it went by the wayside and now it was able to be resurrected again. And so David, you've done a great job and I'm really happy to be part of this and have Henry and Karen and Gloria and Anna, I guess, I'm not sure, but this is really important to have us for the visibility and to have us out there again. It really is, so thank you for being involved,
Thank you. You got, I mean, like you just said, I think all of us are involved in a lot of different things. And I think they're really, I see the same people everywhere in all these different groups. And, I mean, there's certain people that just want to keep giving. And I know all you do that. So thank you.
It's David's fault entirely that I'm here. I'm on the Elder Affairs Commission. And he was saying, I'm looking for people to help out. And I'm like, my background's in disability. So I called and they're like, oh, sure. So I just have to go sign a book because they didn't even interview me. Like, yeah, no, you're fine.
Well, Karen, when you said you'd be interested, I was like jumping up and down on my seat. I can tell just from talking to you today, you're going to be a great addition to our commission. And Gloria, I'm excited about having you too. And I just think that, I can see this is a great start. And, I hope that we get Zach back next time. Because do you know Zach Shippen from the college at all, Karen?
No, I don't.
Oh, because he works with students with educational learning disabilities. That's right, Henry, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean,
They hide them in the basement of the library and I'm over on East Campus. So I don't get to meet very
Oh
many.
boy, yeah, that's a difference, huh?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's
but
just
anyway,
kind
he
of
was a
like,
nice guy.
it's not huge, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this time, we're planning to meet Zoom, I would imagine, April 14th at 3:00.
Okay.
And if there's any change, we'll let each other know and I'll do it in writing to everyone so we're all set.
Okay. And will everybody receive that link also, David, if they don't have it regarding that other from the Mass Commission on Disability from Jeff? Is it Jeff or I forget his name?
Oh, it's Jeff. So okay. So let me take this back. So
yeah,
are you interested in attending that meeting, Lorraine?
I will attend. But I mean, if we have another meeting, I can attend whatever.
Because what I could do is I could change next month's meeting. Right now, we can change it to a different date so that we could accommodate both things.
Or if you want me to just be a representative and attend that earlier meeting on the 14th, and then I can just bring back information so everybody could still have the meeting at the same time at 3, whatever you want.
What time is that meeting on the 14th?
I think it's at 11 or 11:30. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I didn't print it out.
And how long is it, do you think? Is it going to run?
I think it's an hour. It's an hour.
Okay. So that really wouldn't interfere with this meeting then?
No.
Okay. So if it's okay with everyone, I would prefer to keep it so we kind of start getting uniformity of second Wednesday unless we decide going forward to change it. So Wednesday, the 14th at 3:00, does that work? At this point, does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Then we'll plan that we'll all get together on Wednesday, the 14th. And actually a little bit of homework, maybe, think about something you'd like to see us working on this year and that we could really sink our teeth into. Because I think the best thing we could do is pick 2 or 3 ideas or what we want to work on and concentrate on those ideas. And in the next, month, think about something you could see us working on, and we could come to an agreement and come up with 2 or 3 ideas that we would like to see us do.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Good. Any last words of wisdom? Anything? Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I wrote a grant with the Martin Richard Institute with the Emily from the Senior Center and with BCCR. And we just had on yesterday, our first of a 3-part series on aging and social justice. And
Okay.
the moderators are all Bridgewater residents. The panelists are all Bridgewater residents. And so the next one will be our panelists reflecting on being Black in Bridgewater during the civil rights movement.
Oh,
So
okay.
that
Wow.
is on the 30th at 2:30. And then our last one will be on April 13th at 2:00.
Oh,
So we have
great.
2 more,
Okay.
and each one is moderated by someone from here in town. You know, yesterday's
Wonderful.
was moderated by Gloria Stanton, who used to be
Oh,
the
yeah.
principal at the Burnell Lab School.
Gloria
Mhm.
Stanton. Yeah. Excellent.
And the next one is Jeannie Foster, I think. And then the last one will be Sydney Marrow as the
Okay,
moderators.
wonderful.
And then the panelists, Shirley Campbell, some of you probably know. The Bracy's were there.
Wonderful.
And Doris Campbell and Shirley, forget Shirley's last name, but
Really,
yeah,
Phillips?
Doris Campbell was there. And it was just really, we had 41 attendees. It was really well.
Oh, that's
received.
great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I think it was Shirley Phillips. Was it
It's
Shirley
Yes.
Phillips?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's wonderful. That's
She's on
great.
BCCR also. She's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, she is. Yep. She's involved in so many things.
But I
Yeah.
think it was really wonderful to hear their stories. And, you know, and Paul
Mhm.
Bracy made the point, like, yeah, these things have happened, but I don't feel particularly poorly treated in Bridgewater. It's just that these things happen no matter where I go.
No.
So
Yeah.
it was really interesting to hear that.
Mhm. That's wonderful.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. That's important stuff there. Thank you.
Mhm.
So, but Emily has the Zoom link. The brochure has been out on all of our, it just showed up in Wicked Local for Bridgewater.
Oh, wow.
It's
Wow.
everywhere. There are clever people helping Emily. Our interns are helping us market. So
Mhm.
Nice.
put
Yeah.
those kids to work. Keep them out of trouble. Keep them
know
off the streets and
everything,
give
I
them stuff to
know.
do.
Okay, anything else, anyone? Okay, well, I think we're all set now. Thank you very much. I think this was a great meeting. And it was a
Excellent.
great start to our new Disability Commission. So thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
David.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Take care.
everybody.
Stay
Take care.
safe.
Nice meeting everyone.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Stay
Bye.
safe.
All right.
Take care.